Essentially what I do with a round 2 BBL is I just try to establish the ogee line. Sometimes patients see the ogee line and then they're like, oh, my BBL doesn't look exactly like that, and they like that. Patients will come in basically looking for the ogee. And so that's kind of the situation we're here. She's had a BBL, she has a very nice body, she's got a good shape, she had an excellent BBL, she's got good volume. There's a couple little things that fat probably didn't survive and fill in. We're gonna try to fill a few of these little dimples in, and she's not really looking for a huge volume change, but we really just wanna kind of freshen this up a little bit, so to speak. What I look at when I'm evaluating somebody for a round 2 BBL is just to look to see what that ogee line is. If it's not smooth, then I think I can do something, and that's where we are here. What I look at is just this outside line. I like this line to come up here. It's looking pretty good here. I'm gonna put a little bit in here to kind of blend that line, but it's looking pretty good here. She starts to get a little bit flat here, and then she comes out here. So if I just kind of look at where this line is, to me, these two things are kind of upside down. So she's coming out where I would like her to come in, and she's a little bit flat and depressed where I would like this to come out. It's really no more complicated than kind of switching these two things around. Where this is out, we're gonna make that come in, and where this is in, we're gonna make that come out. Well, what does that accomplish? That will round the butt. If you want like a really round, perky butt, you need a smaller butt, because you can't take a really big, wide butt and make that perky. But if you have a smaller butt, it can be really perky. Here, if I lipo through this key area, which she didn't have before, a lot of people don't want to lipo through the key area, and there's nothing wrong with not lipoing through the key area. It's just, it's not the look that I like. And so I think if I lipo through the key area, I really make this the top of her butt. And so when I lipo through this key area, the butt kind of gets a little bit shorter, but by filling this in, it's going to be rounder and a little bit more plump, and it's going to be a little perky. She's already got a perky good butt, but this will be a little bit perkier. This line is going to just be nice and smooth and go all the way up. And then obviously I do a lot of lipo in this upper back as well to be able to just establish that upper part of the ogee line. So my philosophy with a round 2 is really exactly the same it is for round 1. We're just focusing on those things that weren't maybe addressed during the round 1 and converting that into that ogee line. Okay, so here we are, post-op day 1. So she had surgery yesterday. Remember, we were doing a round 2 where we were gonna fix a couple of little dimples and the little areas that weren't totally filled in. This is just something important to see. See this? This is really where we want this extra pressure in through this key area. And you can even see with her faja that this is now rounded out the top of her butt. And we're gonna take a look again, in a few weeks or a couple months or something, and we'll just kind of follow along the progress. But I wanted you to see early on just the importance of wearing the faja to keep the compression through this area. This is a 4-layer area of compression here that gives you added pressure. Some of the problems that I see is people try to compress too much and you get problems with burns and other types of lumps and things like that. You always want just a nice firm compression through this area. This is really very little compression in this area, just something for comfort and to keep things stabilized and help with the swelling. But this is key compression in the key area, and that was the most important part for her for the round 2. So already looking good. She's happy. She likes her new shape, and then we'll see later on as she starts to heal, the swelling goes down and skin tightens up, what that key area looks like and what the changes were with the round 2. Here we are 3 months out. This was a round 2 BBL. Remember, she had a really nice shape to begin with, and really the goal was to kind of just convert her from her BBL 1 to having just an OG shape for the second one. It's not perfect, but it's really beautiful, and I think what we wanted to do, most of it worked. You have to realize, like, we're dealing with human beings, we're dealing with human tissue. There's differences in people's shape asymmetry to begin with. There's difference in how people heal. There's differences in fat survival. So nothing ever is perfect, even though we try to make everything perfect. You have to try to make things symmetrically, try to make them perfect, and then we get the very best result that we can, but we have to also accept some things that are just part of human healing. So one of the things, and I will say she's happy, she likes her result, and she has a beautiful shape. Remember we tried to fill some of these in, and I think it's definitely better. It's not completely filled in, and some of that is just the way the tissue is and the way it kind of contracts. So there's a little bit there, but I think that's definitely better. Her shape is really pretty. We've done, it's really the key area that really kind of did the most of the work here. Would I like this to fill in just a tiny bit more, just to get that line to come a little bit? Yeah, but this is some of the perfection we're talking about, where she still has a tiny bit of flatness here, but I think overall the shape is really pretty. She has some fullness here that she was concerned about. We'll look again in a year to see. I doubt that there's going to be anything that we can do, because I really don't think she has any fat here. I think it's just a little bit of looseness to the skin. So some things not 100% perfect, but overall I think she's a beautiful result. The main goal of the operation was to convert her to this OG shape, and I think we're successful. But it's like in every single case, there's always little things that we would always like to be better, but the tissue doesn't always cooperate. I think overall, I mean, I wouldn't go on and do like a third round or anything crazy like that, but I think she looks beautiful.